Hello to all of our beautiful listeners out there, wherever you are, and welcome to our radio station. It is so incredibly wonderful to have you here with us. If you are listening to this in the middle of a frantic day, running errands or sitting behind the wheel trapped in bumper-to-bumper traffic, or maybe you were just quietly unwinding in the stillness of your room, I want to ask you to do something for me right now. Just take a deep breath. Drop your shoulders, let go of the frantic pace of the world outside, and let the rhythm of this hour carry you. We are here to step away from the noise, just for a little while, and simply sit together in this space. Have you ever noticed how much effort we put into staying visible? We spend our entire waking lives building profiles, managing reputations, and carving out an identity in a world that never stops watching. But there is a quiet, almost radical shift that happens the moment we decide to close our eyes. It's the ultimate act of daily vulnerability. We spend 16 hours trying to hold the world in place, but the moment our head hits the pillow, all that effort completely collapses. We surrender. Today, we are leaning into that exact art of letting go. We're exploring the friction between our frantic, structured days and the beautiful, unpolished spaces where we actually find our humanity. Welcome back. We live in a culture that treats life like an accumulation puzzle. We're told that satisfaction is a matter of addition. More tasks, more achievements, more perfect outcomes. But the deeper you look, the more you realize that the most profound moments don't come from adding things to our plates. They come from the quiet intervals in between. They come from the moments we allow ourselves to decelerate, to look closely at our imperfections, and to realize that the stumbles are often the very things that give our lives texture. Today's episode is an invitation to look at the data of your own life with a bit more gentleness. Returning to that idea of surrender, it turns out that even when we are completely unconscious, our bodies are still telling an incredibly rich story. Think about the shape you found yourself in when you woke up. Were you curled up tight, protecting yourself from the chill, or sprawled out across the mattress like a soldier holding a position? Back in the 1970s, psychoanalysts loved to argue that these late-night postures were secret mirrors of our deepest anxieties and confidences. Modern science looks at that with a bit of a skeptical smile today. But what it reveals instead is just as fascinating. A beautiful, mechanical dialogue between our physical frameworks and the relentless pull of gravity. We spend centuries trying to decode our dreams, analyzing Freud, Jung, and the surreal landscapes of the mind. But we rarely pause to look at the literal, physical posture of our rest. While your mind is traveling, your heart, lungs, and spine are fighting a very real battle to heal the micro damages of the day. Your posture in the dark can be the exact line between a clear morning and a heavy, aching stiffness. In this brilliant piece by Rachel Marie E. Salas for TED-Ed, we look at the elegant science of how we lie down, the left side, the right side, the back, and the stomach, and how each shape alters our internal geography. Let's listen to the tape.
In the 1970s, psychoanalyst Samuel Dunkel proposed a curious, albeit almost completely unsubstantiated theory that the position you sleep in reflects your personality. For example, preferring to snooze in the so-called royal position indicated self-confidence, while sleeping semi-fetal meant you're sensible and well-adjusted. While Dunkel's ideas lack any definitive proof, how we sleep can impact our health. So, what's the best position to sleep in? Sleep positions go by countless creative names: the zombie, mountain climber, free faller, and soldier. Yet sleep experts typically simplify them into 4 basic types: left side, right side, stomach, or back. Until the age of 1, it is recommended that babies sleep on their backs to lower their risk of choking and suffocation. As young children, we start to move around more in our sleep, usually ending up on our sides and backs. And this tendency to avoid sleeping on our stomachs only grows with age. By adulthood, most people prefer side sleeping, while fewer favor back sleeping, and stomach sleeping is the least preferred overall. But of course, individual sleep styles are highly personal. Some people are sworn belly sleepers, while others can't nod off unless they're sprawled out on their backs. How we spend the night affects our bodies in several ways. Different sleep postures shift the relative positions of our internal organs, which can either relieve or worsen certain health issues. Others can leave the spine unsupported, straining nearby tissue and preventing the muscles in the back, hips, or neck from fully relaxing. This can then lead to tension and stiffness in the morning. Take, for example, the least popular position, sleeping prone. Of the four, this also tends to be the least recommended by sleep experts, as it's thought to stretch the natural curvature of your spine. Yet there are unique situations when lying on your stomach may be beneficial. For patients with certain respiratory conditions, for example, it allows the back of the lungs to expand more freely. Sleeping on your back, on the other hand, is often preferred by those with lower back pain. When paired with a small pillow under the knees, this position allows the spine to maintain its natural curve. However, it may be less than ideal for your sleep partner. For some people, lying on their back can cause the soft tissues of the throat and tongue to collapse into the airway. Then, as the body tries to pull air through, these tissues vibrate, creating the sound we call snoring. This is also why people with sleep apnea are often told to avoid this position. This condition already involves pauses in breathing, and back sleeping can increase the likelihood that the airway collapses completely, blocking airflow. Today, most experts generally recommend side sleeping, particularly when combined with a pillow between the knees to better align the spine. But, as it turns out, which side you lie on may make a difference. For example, studies show that sleeping on the left side often reduces heartburn symptoms for those with acid reflux. Your stomach is primarily located on the left side of your body, so this position situates it below the esophagus, allowing gravity to naturally keep stomach acid from flowing back up. However, for people with congestive heart failure, who often have an enlarged left ventricle, sleeping on the right side can help relieve chest pressure and improve their overall quality of sleep. Clearly, there's no one-size-fits-all answer, and attempting to reap the benefits of any one position can be tough, since most people shift positions 20 to 30 times per night without even knowing it. Pillows and other sleep training devices can help you stay in one place, but fortunately, unless you have a specific concern, sleep movement isn't always a bad thing. It's how your body naturally relieves pressure, responds to discomfort, and ultimately prevents injury. So, the next time you find yourself drifting to the free faller, soldier, or zombie, you can rest assured.
We live in a culture absolutely obsessed with destinations and clean resolutions. The picture-perfect ending where the credits roll and everyone lives happily ever after. But the story never actually stops. The day after the big win or the day after the massive crash, you still have to wake up, make coffee, and face the morning. Yet we carry this paralyzing fear of messing up, trapping ourselves between the fear of failing and the exhausting pressure to keep winning. But what happens when someone breaks out of that trap entirely? When we think of Kobe Bryant, we think of the 5 championship rings and the lethal Mamba mentality. But Kobe's real depth was his psychological framework. To achieve true mastery, he completely redefined what a mistake meant. An error wasn't a tragedy, it was just data, a map showing him exactly where to explore next. It's an ancient Stoic perspective. The obstacle isn't blocking the path, the obstacle is the path. In this archival piece, Kobe is stripped of the jersey and the stadium lights, breaking down the very concept of failure. He doesn't offer cheap motivation. Instead, he challenges the very existence of failure. reminding us that Monday is only a failure if you decide to stop moving on Tuesday. Take a breath, let go of whatever result you're clinging to, and listen to a masterclass on staying dead center in the middle of the storm.
I always think that there's two types of players who love to win and players who hate to lose. Which one are you?
I'm neither.
Meaning?
Meaning that, I play to figure things out. I play to learn something, right? Because I think if you play with a fear of failure, or you play with the will to win, or that supersedes the fear of failure, I think it's a weakness either way, right? Because if you play with the fear of failing, you'll have the pressure on yourself to play, to capitulate to that fear. If you play with the sense of I want to win, then you have the fear of what happens if you don't. But if you find common ground in the middle, in the center, then it doesn't matter. You're unfazed by either, right? And that enables you to really just stay in the moment, stay connected to it, and not feel anything other than what's in front of you. So I try to just be dead center.
So a lot of people in general are afraid of failure. How did you become one of those people who doesn't seem to be afraid of failing?
Failures, it doesn't exist. It's not existent. What the hell does that mean? Seriously, what does failure mean? It doesn't exist. It's a figment of your imagination. What does it mean?
Pulling a Jedi mind trick on me right now. I was
Serious.
like, does it exist?
No, I'm serious. I'm trying to think, how can I explain it? So, let's use happy endings, right? And then we can relate this to failure, why it's not existent. Everybody talks about, everybody wants a happy ending, right? Now let's go to the reality of it, right? Let's look at a fairy tale story. Let's look at Snow White. Mm-hmm. She gets a happy ending. She finds Prince, or whatever. She goes on. She lives happily ever after. Well, I call bullshit on that, because 2 months later, the fact is they had an argument and he's sleeping on the couch. Right? So the point is, the story continues. The story continues. So if you fail on Monday, the only way it's a failure on Monday is if you decide to not progress from that. Right? So to me, that's why failure is not existent. Because, if I fail today, I'm going to learn something from that failure, and I'm going to try again on Tuesday. And I failed, and I'm going to try again on Wednesday. So it doesn't exist.
You know what? Should my ratings go in the tank? That's exactly what I'm going to say to the bosses. Hey, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, but you know what?
We should try it again on Thursday.
If your ratings go in the tank, and which they won't, but if they did, you had learned a valuable lesson. You had learned a bunch of ways of how not to make a show that sucks. So then the next one will be better than the last one, right?
So are you telling me then, let's just say all the career statistics that you've compiled, they all still exist, still play for the Lakers, and all of that still happens. If you finished your career without a championship, you would not have looked at that as a failure?
No, I would have looked at it as being extremely disappointed, because I had a dream and I had goals that I wanted to accomplish, right? And if I don't accomplish those goals, I have to ask myself why, right? So from my position, the reason why I would not have accomplished those things is poor leadership, failure to communicate properly with my teammates and put them in positions to be successful, lack of preparation. All those things would be reasons why I don't win, right? So now, if that was the case, in my career, I have to sit and I have to analyze that. And then as I move and I evolve, post basketball into business or whatever, those same weaknesses are going to reveal themselves there, right? So if I don't learn from that, I'm going to struggle here too, right? So I can take those situations and learn from those and have them, make me a better person later in life. But if I don't take that stuff and apply that someplace else, then that's failing, which to me is the worst possible thing you could ever have, is to stop and to not learn.
There is a radical comfort in that. The only true failure is to stop learning, to let the story freeze because we are too proud or too hurt to look at our weaknesses. The ratings dip, the goal slips, and the story just keeps going. The question is simply whether we are willing to show up on Tuesday morning, open the notebook, and treat the stumble as the thing that makes us wiser.
I saw your name today on the screen I almost missed. Same old rush in my chest, same old cut in my wrist. Your jacket on my chair still smells like rain and dust. I moved it to the hall, still couldn't move on from us. I tell myself be strong, let the old things stay gone. But the quiet gets loud when the house turns off. Has the thought of us again ever crossed your mind? Ever cross your mind? Do you still feel that pull when you hear my song? When you hear my song?
It is a strange human habit to tell ourselves, once I get that job, buy that apartment, or cross off that next achievement, then I'll finally feel complete. We write down these glittering ledgers of desire, called bucket lists, treating them as roadmaps to happiness. But when we stand at the top of the mountain we spent years climbing, we often feel a sudden, terrifying emptiness. The thrill fades, and the hunger returns sharper than before. This isn't a personal failure of gratitude. It's a glitch in our human hardware. We are biologically wired to believe satisfaction is a matter of addition. Our guest today, social scientist Arthur C. Brooks, spent years analyzing data at Harvard to understand why highly successful, ambitious people frequently end up miserable. What he discovered is an ancient truth. Our internal equation for satisfaction is upside down. We try to increase what we have instead of managing what we want. In this sharp conversation with Tim Ferriss, Arthur breaks down a practice he created to save himself from his own runaway ambitions, the reverse bucket list. It's an exercise in learning how to own your desires instead of letting them own you. Let's lean in.
The reverse bucket list is something I do, oh boy, do I ever do it. And it took me too long to figure this one out. When I was 50, I'm 59 years old. When I was 50, I found my bucket list from when I was 40. You know, it was a classic thing. And on my birthday, I would make a list of my desires and my ambitions. And I would imagine myself, visualize myself consuming or experiencing these things. And it would fire me up and make me, well, kind of feel like a loser, quite frankly, because it was lowering my sense of satisfaction, I subsequently found out. And I looked at that list from when I was 40. And I checked everything off that list, and I was less happy
Oh, no.
at 50 than I was at 40. I'm a social scientist, so I thought to myself, obviously, I'm doing something wrong. What am I doing wrong? And basically, this is the problem. This is a neurophysiological problem and a psychological problem all rolled into one handy package. I was making the mistake of thinking that my satisfaction would come by having more. And the truth of the matter is that lasting and stable satisfaction, which doesn't wear off in like a minute, comes when you understand that your satisfaction is your haves divided by your wants. Haves divided by wants. That's the model. So, it's like I'll slow down because I know people watching you like, let me write that down. Haves divided by wants. You can increase your satisfaction temporarily and inefficiently by having more, or permanently and securely by wanting less. I thought to myself, so what does that mean? And the answer to that, what does that mean, is I need a reverse bucket list. Not that I'm not going to get nice things in my life, but I'm going to be consciously detached from them by going through the exercise of writing them down and crossing them out. So on my birthday now, my 59th birthday a couple of months ago, I wrote down all my ridiculous ambitions and desires of money or whatever, power, ambition, admiration, all these things that I want from other people that we all want because we're human and Mother Nature wires us to accumulate the rewards that'll help us survive and pass on our genes. I got it. I know how evolutionary psychology works. And I know that these things are going to occur to me as natural goals, but I do not want to be owned by them. I want to manage them. I don't want them to be like phantasms in my limbic system managing me. I want to move the experience of these ambitions to my prefrontal cortex, which is my executive manager, the bumper of tissue right behind my forehead. And the way that you do that is by looking at each one of these ambitions and saying, maybe I get it and maybe I don't, but I'm going to cross it out as an attachment. And I'm telling you, Tim, I'm free.
And so you found that to work.
It works. It works. It works. It does not because you don't care about it, but because you're not attached to it in the same way. You've made the decision to have it not be a rootless desire, a ghost in your head. You've made it into something that you will consciously manage by literally experiencing that ambition in a different part of your brain.
We have a habit of treating intimacy like an art exhibition. We wait until the canvas is pristine and our rough edges are polished before we dare to invite someone in. But if we are honest, it's usually just freezing terror, the fear that if someone sees the cracks in our armor, they'll turn around and walk away. So we play it safe, leaving our stories floating in a hypothetical realm where nobody gets hurt, but nobody gets known either. Back in 1997, a film came along that sliced right through this defense mechanism. Good Will Hunting was a profound psychological exploration of the walls we build to keep love out. At its heart was an unforgettable performance by Robin Williams as Sean McGuire, a grieving therapist who challenged Matt Damon's character Will, a young genius using intellectual arrogance as a shield. In this legendary scene, Sean pulls back the curtain on what real love looks like, challenging the myth of the perfect partner. He shows us that the things we miss when someone is gone aren't grand gestures. They are the small, absurd, and embarrassing idiosyncrasies that belong only to them. Let's step into that quiet office and listen to the tape.
I have been laid, you know.
Really? Good
Big
for
time.
you.
Big time.
Big time, huh?
I went on a date last week.
How'd it go?
It was good.
You going out again?
I don't know.
Why not?
I haven't called her.
Christ, you're an amateur.
I know what I'm doing.
Really?
Yeah. Don't worry about me. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, but this girl's like, you know, beautiful. She's smart. She's fun. It's different from most of the girls I've been with.
So call her up, Romeo.
Why? So I can realize she's not that smart, that she's boring. You know, I mean, you don't... This girl's like perfect right now. I don't want to ruin that.
Maybe you're perfect right now. Maybe you don't want to ruin that. But I think that's a super philosophy, Will. That way you can go through your entire life without ever having to really know anybody. My wife used to fart when she was nervous. She had all sorts of wonderful little idiosyncrasies. You know, she used to fart in her sleep. I'm sorry I shared that with you. One night it was so loud it woke the dog up. She woke up and got like, "Oh, was that you?" I said, "Yeah, I didn't have the heart to tell her." Oh, God.
She woke herself up.
Yes. Oh, Christ. But Will, she's been dead 2 years, and that's what I remember. It's wonderful stuff, you know? Little things like that. Yeah, but those are the things I miss the most. The little idiosyncrasies that only I knew about. That's what made her my wife. Boy, and she had the goods on me, too. She knew all my little peccadillos. People call these things imperfections, but they're not. Oh, that's the good stuff. And then we get to choose who we let into our weird little worlds. You're not perfect, sport. And let me save you the suspense. This girl you met, she isn't perfect either. But the question is whether or not you're perfect for each other. That's the whole deal. That's what intimacy is all about. Now, you can know everything in the world, sport, but the only way you're finding out that one is by giving it a shot. You certainly won't learn from an old like me. Even if I did know, I wouldn't tell a pissant like you.
Now, why not? You told me every other thing. Jesus Christ. Talk more than any shrink I ever seen in my life.
I teach this. I didn't say I know how to do it.
Yeah. You ever think about getting remarried?
My wife's dead.
Hence the word remarried.
She's dead.
Well, I think that's a super philosophy, Sean. I mean, that way you could actually go through the rest of your life without ever really knowing anybody.
Time's up.
Intimacy isn't about finding a perfect soul who never stumbles. It's about finding someone whose flaws make sense next to yours and having the courage to let them into your wonderfully imperfect world.
Please forgive me for what I'm about to tell you. You may never be the same. We've got a problem here, 'cause you've got a hold on me. Who am I to place the blame on you? It's the way you walk, it's the way you talk, it's the way you look at me that turns me inside out. It's the way you walk, it's the way you talk, it's the way you look at me that turns me inside out. I keep looking for.
As we wrap up this journey, I'm struck by the invisible thread connecting everything we've shared today. From the quiet mechanical adjustments our bodies make in the deep architecture of sleep, to Kobe Bryant treating a stumble on a court as pure wisdom, down to the courage it takes to drop the net of our desires or show our unpolished edges to someone we love. John, it all points to the same truth. Life is lived in the process, not the destination. The beauty is found entirely in the messy, unscripted reality of showing up day after day and moving forward together. We hope these voices give you a little bit of fuel for your own journey as you step out into the world. Today is May 23rd, 2026. Take it slow, embrace the imperfections, and we'll be right here waiting for you when you're ready to start again.